evening, everybody. Good night, or no, good evening. I think is what you say when you say hello.
Talking Dirty
with Maestro.
Not just numbers,
Not just stats.
it's about what they mean.
I'm going to send to you the information.
Talking Dirty.
And welcome to Talkin Dirty with your boy, me. A lot of questions going around this week. A lot of upsets. People calling them upsets. You know, Maestro does not. Because, well, you got to bring everything, right? But let's talk about one particular team that's getting a lot of attention for not being where a lot of people think they should be. That is Lone Star Basketball Club. What's wrong with Lone Star? All that talent. Why is it not wins? Why is it not this? Why is it not that? And at the same time, we find ourselves saying, and when I say we, I'm talking about me and my media family. Well, you know, the kids are learning to play. They're still trying to develop skill sets at this level. It's not so much about the wins and losses. It's not so much about this or that or whatever. And uh, to quote B. Ron, two things can be true at the same time, and they should be spoken about in balance. So let's talk about that balance. Lone Star, for me, and their relationship with all the talent that they have on that team that Coach Woods is working with. There's one thing that they do not have. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But you're talking about a team where they're 20th in points per game. That's not good. 68.5. They're a full 8 points behind the team who's first in points per game, right? Cascadia. They're 12 percentage points behind the AT Aliens, who are number 2 in their division, I believe, in terms of free throw percentage. That's free shots, right? Hence free throws. They are 31st in rebounds, pulling down, oh my goodness gracious, only 8 rebounds less a game than the team that's number 1. Now, the team that's number 1 in rebounds is 6th in their division. We're going to get to this in a second. And then they're 19th in offensive rebounds, 2 offensive rebounds short than Queen City Kings, who are also first in offensive rebounds. Old heads know Maestro firmly believes that offensive rebounds should always turn into what? Points. Okay, not always. I'm going to use the A word. But most of the time, they should turn into points. The thing that I fear that's missing with all this talent on Lone Star Basketball Club is the one thing that doesn't show up on stat sheets. It's the one thing that doesn't show up in something that is quantitative, something that is measurable, something that makes you go, oh yeah, there you go. I see what's going on now with this particular squad. This is where they're able to turn everything around. Because not everything is a plug and play fix in terms of how stats turn into wins and or losses the way we always make it out to be. Oh, not always. See, I said it again. The way we often make it out to be. I know I'm guilty of that sometimes. I have to catch myself. That's why before I even say anything about stats turning around a game or something like that, I deep dive it to the point where it makes some people crazy. And for that, I'll apologize while I keep doing it. So here we go. The one thing that's missing between all that talent, and old heads know, some of my favorite talent is on that team. When have I not talked about King Arthur Lattimore, right? When have I not talked about Ronnie Shanahan? When I call Rip's game like this guy's bringing the funk and the noise and a checkbook that belongs to you because man, pay that man his money. The thing that's missing on this team is chemistry. It is one thing to have a boatload of talent, but not have it coalesce. And there can be a multitude of reasons for why that is the case. And that's something we just can't put our fingers on. and say, well, if they do this, they're gonna gel together. Now, let's talk about the idea here of how the media starts talking like a crazy person, right? This team should be winning, blah, 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 blah. It's not about the wins and losses. It's about the kids learning to play. Okay, let's just step into that void of crazy for a minute. The idea is wins and losses can be a part of that complete process that shows us that a team is putting together not only the game plan that the coaches have, but the players are developing. That's one of the markers, particularly at this level. However, the performance is also something else that shows us, are these things really working? Some teams, chemistry is just bad chemistry. In other words, you don't have to like each other to play well together. Many teams have proven that across the history of sports. So bad chemistry is still chemistry. But sometimes teams, bad chemistry works, right? I guess I shouldn't say it's bad chemistry if it works, right? Sometimes teams love each other to nth degree and they can't hit water if they fell out of a boat. Reality of what's going on. That's how I'm looking at this particular play. That's how I'm looking at how this is working out. This is how I am seeing what's going on here with Lone Star Basketball Club. It's a chemistry issue that they simply need to learn to work together. Not necessarily like each other, but learn to work together, learn to pull together, learn to get on the same side of the rope and make sure that they're pulling themselves toward a win. You know what's up. Let your boy know what you think about that. And we're going to get into something else on the other side.
Thank you for listening to the Maestro. Want to get involved? Bring it.
Drop in discord.gg/SimWorld Hoops.
If you have the brain, join as a coach. If you have the game,
join as a player.
see the game, be the game. Now, back to the Maestro.
Sorry. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. And welcome back to the second half of Talking Dirty with your boy. Let's go and keep it in chemistry class for a minute. The chemistry between any working organization, whether it be straight business, sports teams, astronauts, elementary school teachers, has been a thing of discussion and tension since time immemorial. The idea that there is this reality that every successful team had a bunch of friends on it, we know that's not true. Just like every successful failed team, or the same reason every failed team was a group of people who didn't like each other. You cannot like somebody and still work well with them. I know. You can really love on somebody, and when you get together and do stuff, it sucks. I know. And the same thing goes as we look at what's happening between coach and player. In this particular case, the Rocky Mountain Monstars, as I like to call them, with Coach Robinson and their new addition, Benjamin Alexander. Today's relationship of coach and player is going to be different than yesterday's relationship of coach and player, and that can be said at any given point in history. So let's delve into this a little bit. Ultimately, you either work well together or you do not. Ultimately, you either have successful outcomes or you do not. Ultimately, you see where this is going. I'm not the old head dude that's going to say players should always respect their coaches, even though I feel like they should, but I know it doesn't work like that anymore. I'm not the old head guy that says players should always do everything their coaches say, even though I feel like in many cases they should at least attempt it with an open mind and open heart and see if it works for them, because that coach knows something that that player does not. But we live in a world today where everything is on the 2-minute spin cycle, and a lot of times when we make those transient arguments, it comes out sounding kind of stupid. Sorry to use that word. A player who's never won anything will say, I only play for a coach who's won everything. What do you get to pick? What have you done? Nothing. A coach will say, I want winners, even though they've not proven that they can put together a successful team playing game plan or be able to put together a group of winners themselves. And I'm not using that in the example of the two players and the player and the coach that we're talking about now. I'm just saying in general. The reality is part of the process of being on any team in any situation in any given industry is one must learn to work with others. And there are places in that hierarchy of how that relationship starts. You can still have mutual respect for someone, even though you might not like that other person. And we can argue the semantics and or the specifics of that all day, but it is indeed true. Much like you can not have respect for someone because of who they are, but still appreciate that they can do their work. Now, that sounds like two sides of the same coin, doesn't it? Because it is. The reality is for the Rocky Mountain Monsters, what's going to happen with Coach at the end of the season now has become a topic not even halfway through the current season. And now that's going to become a cloud over their head. Here's where we learn about these two people. How do they handle it? Do they take whatever's between them, cook it up and eat it, fix it, come out stronger on the other side? Or does it become something that impacts their relationship, hence their progress, hence their ability to move forward as they try to turn the Rocky Mountain Monsters into the amazing team they can be? Let us see. Let's check it out. Holla at your boy. And while you're doing that, just remember, don't always trust the suggestions in Netflix. Because if I watch Captain Marvel and after that you tell me because I watched that, I want to watch the Easter Bunny surprise, somebody's got issues.
Like, I need to talk to somebody.
Thank you for listening to Maestro.
Thank you again for checking out Maestro. Drop a tag below and give us a piece of your mind. See you next time.
Well, thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.